done. It's really the wrong approach is to try to use any speed or strength. And it took me a long time. It really did. It was kind of frustrating for a while. Really overwhelming. And listening to these guys and the stories. So you were asking about the colors of the gi. Your rank is symbolized by the color of your belt. Okay. So I'm a white belt, which is where you start. And every white belt goes through this journey. I would hear about his story. There's like a joke, you drive home in silence after a Jiu Jitsu class and try to remember what just happened. And it's like, it was really, so then I just kept going. That's what they said. We all went through it. You feel like you're not really picking it up, and it wasn't until just recently. So then I started to go a lot, and I just learned a lot. I would read a lot. I would listen to these guys, and I would continue to drill. That's what they said, just keep going. So it's like with a different energy. Just recently, I finally have this new calmness about it when I roll, which has really made things really opened my awareness. If you're tense, if you're like going like this the whole time and kind of just like defending yourself for 6 minutes, it's a tough 6 minutes, and you really don't remember anything that just happened. So I was drilling with a professor a couple weeks ago, and he said relax, he could feel me tense. So this is the newest thing I'm learning, and I think it's just really changed my mind. Like, I fell in love with it, and I like a challenge. I like to learn, and it's just amazing. I mean, everyone in there that I roll with is half of my age, but they've become some of my best friends in life because there's so many things you have in common with the same love and appreciation for this martial art, which has been done for so long.
So what do you see happening with the kids that are coming in?
So with the kids, we were in the little room, and it was kind of like, we would refer to it as like our secret fight club. We didn't tell anybody about it. You could get an invite.
Yeah, it was like,
but we don't talk about it. We decided
secret handshake, knock on the door, password, the whole bit. Right?
Yeah, we decided to move into the big room and make it official and open an academy. And so he has experience. He's run his own academy. He's taught. He made a living doing this in different times of his life. And he would talk about the kids at their last place downtown. And a couple things in particular we wanted to do was, offer jiu-jitsu to anyone who wanted it, but kids in particular. And then the female self-defense was very important to Pat and his wife as well. So what I've seen happen, we opened November 13th was our official opening, and it was an open house for kids, and I'll bet there was 40-something people in that room. We have a photo of it, like parents lined all the way around, and I think, 17 kids, which, for a lot of them, they're stepping out of their comfort zone. And almost every single one of them is still there today. So from the beginning, like you talked about, kind of corralling them and how they listen when he speaks, it's amazing.
It is.
Like, these kids can't sit still for a second, or they have a screen in front of them, or it's just really hard to focus. So to watch them really fall in love with it as well, and watch them change. Some of them, we're all from Bellows Falls. Sometimes life is tough, and it's really given them a good, healthy outlet. And I've watched all of them change in less than 2 months. And they look forward to it. They're coming early. There are times when you got to reel them in, but like when it's time to listen and sit and listen, they're really well behaved. It's quite amazing.
Do you find, so here's my question, do you find that when you're working with the kids that they have an easier time with not overthinking it? It sounds like maybe you were kind of overthinking it because you were applying other principles. It's also interesting to me that you call it rolling, because it sounds like you got to roll with it and not try to own it.
Rolling is like our sparring. we call it rolling because we're not really hitting each other.
But I was just saying the word rolling because you got to kind of roll with the technique versus
Definitely.
trying to over. So are do the kids like naturally do that more so than adults, or does it matter?
Kids and women tend to learn quicker because what is required to actually get good and improve, women and children can accept pretty quickly. men
I can get that.
in these specific areas of not using strength and speed and athleticism. It's very difficult for men to let that go because there's always a dip. Like you may be at a certain level and it's like, all right, I got to really learn how to do it. The first thing that happens is, all right, now you're down here, and it's very difficult. So they want to just stay there. What happens if you stay there is it'll just chew you up. You'll not last. But if you take the dip first and then move up, sky's the limit. Change your whole life.
Is there more of a mental component to it than a physical, or is it about equal?
It's I would say it depends, like in your journey, but it ultimately becomes very intellectual, very chess-like, and the physical is just muscle memory from repetition. It's definitely the art where you don't practice till it's perfect. You practice till you can't get it wrong. So that's how you react in the moment if somebody attacks you. Like, how am I going to do this thing if somebody out of the blue does something to me? It's through the repetition. I do it so many times. You do it so many times that you can't get it wrong, and it just happens.
That's an interesting twist on like perfection.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to pursue in the art. And then inevitably you'll hit a moment, and it's different for everybody. You say, well, how can I apply this to my life? And then what ends up happening after your first year is the actual mat stuff is great and awesome, but it really becomes all about what it does for you outside in your life. Not only your team and the mentorship, engaging with one another, but it's like a problem-solving process where I keep having this happen to me. Why does this keep happening? And what it forces you to do, no matter what, is take accountability for your role in that. And then you apply that to your life.
Interesting.
And then you can, any problem that you come up with, you use the Jiu Jitsu method, which is, number one, we can't let it get to a problem that's too out of control. And then we can't respond to things emotionally because it biases our judgment. So we end up solving the problem the best way it truly benefits us, not the way that we would like it to turn out.
Oh, that's good.
I'm curious, have you gotten feedback from parents about like maybe kids being a little more focused, or
It's
maybe
self-confidence is the biggest
big
one.
thing?
Because
Interesting.
what happens is shy kids that won't talk to people, go to restaurants and order their own food. They'll tell you not to put tomatoes on. I mean, kids that never speak to strangers pull out the menu as if they're a professional, and they'll tell you exactly what they
that's
want.
good.
And it's like their parents are looking at them like, who is this kid?
That's funny.
But it's like that in everything.
I think it's nice because there's definitely a void. I'm just going to throw in that we're about 2 minutes out, but there was a void in town for anything for that age group kids to do. So kudos to both of you for offering this and putting it out there. So if people are interested, best way to contact you, and I think a screen's going to come up, but you can
There it
reiterate.
is.
There it is. Your email address? grockfitness1@gmail.com, is that correct?
That's it.
And then grockfitness.gymmasteronline.com. That's what
And
it
then
says.
if you use social media, there's a Greater Rock Jiu Jitsu page. So we haven't mentioned Ben, and Ben was going to be here today, but he has to work, and he runs the page, and he's very responsive to questions, and he's teaching these kids. I'm just helping him out because I know most of them, and but Ben is a very big part of this whole operation.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm older than his dad. He's become one of my best friends. It's really cool.
Yeah.
All three of us, the mission is the community, this community. We agree, we felt there was something missing for the children and for the adults, and we're trying to, in the way we know and think is best, we try and offer to fill that void in a way that is as positive as possible and gives back to the community as possible.
And what times are your classes? That would be a good thing for people to know.
So the kids' class is Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 4 to 5. If you're an adult and you want to try a class, because everybody can try a class for free. We want you to come in and try it. You know, you can email us, you can do anything, but we would prefer you just show up. Come talk to us, come check it out, come try a class. The women's self-defense class is always free. It's on Fridays from 5 to 6. So yeah, kids, any Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4. Adults, Monday and Wednesday, 5 to 6 is the beginner class. It's geared towards people that are beginners or never had it. And then the self-defense for women is all levels. You could be a beginner or whatever. But
And we got like 10 seconds, but how's
There's,
the turnout for that been? Has that been good?
We had a,
self-defense
Yeah.
has been awesome.
oh yeah.
Good.
We had a
Right.
6 a.m.
Parting
class
thoughts?
this morning, so I went to 6 a.m. class. I'll be back for kids class and then adult. So there's jiu-jitsu every day except Thursday.
Perfect.
I beat the buzzer.
You did beat the
You
buzzer.
did. But just before we go, I'd like to point out one of the things that Patrick tells the class is that they're a team. That they're not, even though they're wrestling or rolling with each other, which is like wrestling, they're not competing with each other. They're teaching each other the techniques and they're teaching each other to grow. And I thought that was amazing.
We
So-
use each other to lift each other up is the premise behind that. the idea.
That message should maybe get out to like a
Everybody.
lot more
The world.
adults.
I think the world.
I think so too. That's what I
community
meant.
at a time.
Exactly.
And that's
So
all the
we
time
hope
we
you'll
have.
come
Oh,
back.
yeah, hope you'll
because
come
this
back.
is- we
It
just
was
barely
great.
dipped
Yeah,
our
we're
toes
just
in
getting
it.
warmed up.
So, all right, bye community.
All right. See you
Bye.
next week.
Thank you.
We'll
Come
get
see
cut
us.
off.
News, politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the beat. Mike and Marty. Mike and